Hi, Dr. Ruth Anderson here with you today. And today is the launch of our first anthology for Enlightened World. This is Gateway to an Enlightened World, Collective Life Lessons to Support Planetary Transformation. And this book is available on Amazon. Today's the very first day it's up. So if you are interested in reading about other people's spiritual transformation and finding out how maybe it pertains to you, this is the book for you. So I have one of the co-authors here with me today. This is Anayah Joi Holilly. Anayah, come on and say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you sharing this moment. It's wonderful. Thanks, Ruth.
So we do know that this book is an Amazon international bestseller, and we're waiting to hear from some of the other countries. But so far, we are #1 in the UK and in the Netherlands, and we're waiting to hear about #1 in the United States. There was a little glitch with Amazon. So we're #2 in the US. We're trying to get to #1. And then we're waiting to hear from Japan and Australia. And we've even got one of our co-authors is in India tonight. So who knows what we'll end up with.
Mm-hmm.
So Anayah, tell us, you wrote this beautiful chapter. It's called The Many Facets of Letting Go. And a few minutes ago, you were telling me that this chapter was really instrumental in transformation for you, which is so exciting. So what I love about that is I had asked for a chapter about transformation that you had gone through, but here this chapter was actually an impetus for further transformation. So can you share with us a little bit about that?
Oh, wow. It's so true. You know, this book is so well named because this chapter has actually become a gateway for my personal transformation.
Wow.
This chapter, when I sat down to write it, it was so cathartic, but it really taught me something as well. It was so painful to write this chapter, to relive the events in this chapter. It was very painful for me. And I sobbed, great big fat hot tears, Ruth. I sobbed and I sobbed and I wailed, so much so that my daughter rushed downstairs because she thought something had happened. And I had a major revelation. Both my parents made their crossing through stroke, and I didn't realize, and this is the importance, this is the value of sharing from a heart-centered place. I didn't realize that subconsciously I felt like I deserved to have a stroke myself because I didn't save mum and dad and I didn't have their strokes for them. Wow. It was all wrapped up in, you know how we have all this stuff in our lives, we take on these roles as children and subconsciously we continue to act them out throughout our lives. And I thought I had, you know, a peg in that. I thought I knew and I didn't. So it was major for me personally. And it was like a freedom to understand that fully. And that freedom keeps unfolding for me. I'm learning every day something about where I'm holding all my stuff, my fears, my regret, my self-criticisms. And it's a very normal, natural human part of what we do. It's what we're here to learn how to let go of, really, and love ourselves through. So I want to say thank you, Ruth. Thank you. You listened to Archangel Michael, you gathered an incredible team, and you created this for us from your heart. And the love that you have poured into this project has been nothing short of a transformational inspiration for me personally to be a part of it. So thank you.
Oh, well, absolutely my pleasure. But one of the fun things, so Anayah was one of the speakers with the Enlightened Women, Enlightened Youth Summit, and we all fell in love with you during that summit. But what was so awesome was to watch the transformation of you during that summit. So you had Angel Heart Radio. That was already in existence, but it was only audio. And as a result of the summit, you took a major step and you said, No, Angel Heart Radio is now video.
Yeah,
That's huge.
it
So
really was.
how has that been for you, making that shift?
Well, it's been incredible, Ruth. And again, when I watched my Facebook Live, my interview that you did, it was fabulous. I had no idea it was going to be so amazing. It was really wonderful. And I kept looking at her, at me, going, wow, who is that woman? I love her.
Yes.
And then when I got to do the Facebook Live with you about it, I'd had a real crash in confidence and I was very vulnerable. It was not easy to be so vulnerable on camera talking about it. When you said those words, it was time to go on video, I could feel it. I could feel the truth of it. So I went ahead and I did it anyway, not knowing what I was doing. And I'm still learning. And it's been amazing, Ruth, because it's given me all this opportunity because I couldn't get it to stream. And then I didn't know what I was doing. And then I didn't know if I was live, time and time again. But I knew that these weren't roadblocks for me. These were simply golden opportunities to say, you know what? I'm doing it anyway. My fear is not going to be what stops me. My fear is going to be what gives me the golden wind that helps me to move out of all of that stagnant energy that, is the fear. And it's exciting. And do you know what? I was talking to Carol the other day, Carol and Cross, and I said to her, can you imagine doing Angel Heart Radio in the studio again? And she said, no. And I can't either. I can't imagine not being, it brings a whole new world, doesn't it, Ruth? It expands and opens and invites. It's a very inviting format, which I really love because we love our audience so much. It's great to be able to invite them in. And some days, and I was saying to Carol, some days, we may be feeling a bit blur, but we'll go ahead with it anyway because that's part of the journey. That's what we're all doing. And it's not having those, they used to be called Kodak moments years and years ago, showing my age. Now Instagram moments. It's not about an Instagram moment in your life, is it? Right. It's about sharing truly deeply from your heart, however you are on that day. If your hair's great. If it's not, well, boo-hoo.
Right. Well, you know what I loved, Anayah, was watching you from the moment you decided, okay, we're going to do video on this, to the day that you started doing video. You were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, you were like a bulldozer. You were just, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I was just sitting back watching it going, holy cow, look at this. And then you did it. And it's amazing because you really do get to know somebody so much better by seeing them.
Yep, it's so true. And our first guest was an incredible artist, Glenys Byrne. I'm sorry, Glenys, please forgive me. Her art is beyond beautiful. And we got to show it.
Right.
That was a whole new understanding of what we could actually not only provide for our beautiful guests, but we could provide for others who are tuning in at any time, live or later. And isn't that what it's about, Ruth? How can we create something in the world that not only do we feel very, for me, I thought I knew what gratitude felt like. Just lately, that's gone to a whole new level. And something that has personal significance for us, that we send out like kisses to the universe, that we send out for people to be able to experience if that feels right for them. Wow, you're right about video. And do you know what I remember the other day? My sister and I, when we were little, we used to pretend with hairbrushes. I think most people have done this. We'd be singing away. And then I didn't realize at the time because I was so young, but I had a vision of myself on stage and I realized that's going to come true.
Of course.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yes. And it's going to come true through an Enlightened World retreat. So hold on to that one.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And it's very, it's actually exciting, but it's also, I realized this morning, I just felt so out of control, if you will. My energy was all over the place. My blood pressure was really high. I was talking to God about it and I said, you know, can you just give me a bit of understanding here? And he gave me this perfectly clear picture of I'm actually breaking through old self-imposed barriers. I'm actually, like, you know, when you see a plane go through the sound barrier and it goes, that's what I'm doing. And my body's just reacting, saying, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's just a normal reaction that will change for you the more that you leave that old energy behind. Isn't that great?
Yep, it's that old word ascension. That's what.
Yeah, I know. And it's ascension, you know, sometimes ascension can conjure up, you know, the headaches and the dizziness and the not feeling well. But it's the ascension of just opening your arms, you know, that standing on the cliff, just opening your arms and just going, you know what? I am going to fly. I'm doing it right now. And that's what it feels like for me. It's really, really wonderful.
So I'm watching you and I can't stop smiling because
Me either.
I know, because I really hope that people watching this series of interviews that I've done all day long, you know, one co-author after co-author, I really hope that people get to see why you're part of Enlightened World, why Archangel Michael and God and whoever else is working with you to bring their word into the world, because you're fabulous.
Oh, God, thank you. I am fabulous, Ruth.
You are fabulous.
I'm just starting to learn that. And, you know, and it's not that ego thing anymore either. It's about, and that's, you know, the self-love advocate. It's about loving ourselves in such a way that is truly meaningful and truly reflective of the incredible souls that we all are, regardless of the part we're playing in each other's lives. Hey, having that wonderful, magnificent glimpse, and it's just a glimpse because we're still here on earth, to who we really are. And I just want to say to everyone, please get behind the authors. Check them out. Go buy your copy. You know, this opportunity you have is like they keep talking about this golden breath, this golden moment. We have this opportunity together. Let's link this beautiful energy together in support of one another. And as I said, it's not about ego. Look, it's great to be bestseller. Wow. I mean, I'm over the moon about it. But the bigger picture, Ruth, and I know it's the same for you, the bigger picture is the more countries we are best selling in, the more people we will reach ultimately. And that's what this whole book, this whole project, and the books to come are really about, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about bringing heaven to earth. It's all about teaching people that the spiritual divinity really are there for them, that
Yeah.
all they have to do is open their hearts, open their minds, and be open and available. And they'll be right there. That's what all of Enlightened World is about, and Angel Heart Radio.
And exactly, Angel Heart Radio and Angel Light 777. It's that bringing together, because Angel Heart Radio, Angel Light 777 came first, then Angel Heart Radio 3 years later, and they were very separate for a long time. And the energy now has coalesced and merged. And that was actually something, and I don't know why, but I didn't ever expect that. And I guess it's bringing the little pieces of me, of what I've come to experience as a person here on earth, as a soul experiencing this opportunity we call life. It's the wonder of coming home. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you, one of the lines that Spirit gave me to use about Enlightened World is "Welcome home."
Ah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And, you know, I said this a long time ago and it's come up again for me now. Coming home to me is the warmest place I've ever been. And I was a person who gee, I was flat out cruel to myself. I hated myself with a vengeance for a long time, for many years. And I didn't see any value or worth in myself as a human being. My family would actually be better off without me. And I considered ways that might come about. And, oh, thank you, God, that I didn't go down that road. But what's happened, Ruth, is having those experiences of what that feels like is so enriching, because now when people reach out to me who are feeling some of that or in their own way, people know when you get them, don't they?
Yes.
They know when it's coming from the heart. And so I want to say to people, if you are experiencing your own dark night of the soul or, personal difficulties, tragedies, it's so, and this is part of what my chapter touches on, how important it is to be okay with that, okay with how we feel about that. And I just want you to know that even though you feel alone, or you may feel alone, you are not alone. And I'm not just talking about God and the angels and Mother Mary and all the divine beings. I'm talking about us as well. We're here in support of you. We stand in support of you. I'm getting really emotional now. We stand in support of you. We care about who you are as a person. And we care that you know that we treasure your place in the world. We need you here. That's why you're here, for a very important reason, many reasons. So don't underestimate just how needed you are, exactly as you are. Hey, Ruth, exactly as you are.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Anayah, I love you. I'm so glad you're part of Enlightened World. And I'm so glad I get to be a part of Angel Heart Radio and Angel Light 777. And it just feels good knowing that we're working with the spiritual divinity to make the world a better place, and that we have found each other and found other folks that we're working with now that we can link arms with and do it together. It's so much nicer than doing it all by ourselves.
It really is. And it's also, for me, Ruth, it's that joy, the joy of being in that. And I do honestly feel it's a very privileged position to realize it, not to be in it, because that's a divine gift that we can all have in our lives in one way or another. And again, not diminishing what people are experiencing, but to know it. That's the really great part, to actually know that. It's wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
I'm going to let you go, but I want to thank you for your chapter. I want to thank you for the love that you share with all of us every time we talk to you. It's just such a beautiful gift. So, my love to you. Thank you. And
Thank you.
to our listeners here on Facebook, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And thank you for joining us in this day of the launch of our anthology. We appreciate you so much. So good night.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.